Monday morning gym session complete. It is 7:09 a.m. Worked out for about 45 minutes. Burned 255 calories. Pretty basic push day. But look at this. This is the best part about this time of year. Get out of the gym. Sun is rising.
All right, we are throwing down a quick voiceover. So this is the go-to breakfast. I have it probably 3 to 5 times a week, maybe more. Taco Deli, if you guys ever get these things, I mean, they're local here, at least that's where I get them. But if you can get the uncooked tortillas, get them. They are 10 times better. So we got 2 eggs, we got some egg whites, and we're throwing that into that little mug right there. I'm going to throw in some cheese. I got some low-fat cheese here. I don't really care. I'm not on a diet right now. So low-fat, full-fat, who cares? It'll taste pretty good. When you go fat-free, it's where it doesn't taste as good. These are a major, major key. Whole Foods, cold-pressed juices in freaking incredible. I used to never drink my calories, drink carbs, drink juice. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. I want to eat my calories. No. I started doing this. It is so good. So good. I have no idea how many calories it is. I don't really care. It's just clean juice. Kerrygold butter, that is the best butter you can get. Mix up the eggs, scramble them. There we go. Drop one. But there's the eggs. That's how much it comes out to be. I'm estimating this is about 30 grams of protein or so, just roughly guessing. I don't measure this super, super close. I look to eat my body weight in grams roughly in protein every single day. There's the 2 tacos. That's what comes out. Always throw on the Frank's Red Hot. We got creatine. We got vitamin D. We got a fish oil. We got a multi. And we got B12 daily.
The sun is finally back out. It looks like we're gonna have a day. No clouds in the sky. I can't complain. It's been freaking raining for like the past week here. I'll take it.
All right, so we just wrapped up day 1. Here are the stats on the Webull day trade account going into week 2 of this month. So what I did is I just actually went over to my Webull app and I exported my trade list. So I don't have any trades here on shares and whatnot, IPOs. The options file is what I'm going to go download. So I'm going to download that. And then I'm going to have this CSV file right here. I'm going to go back to TradeZella. I'm going to go to import trades, make sure my main Webull PA is selected, and I'm going to go here, upload the file, give it like 2 seconds, and boom. So I know I'm covering up a little bit of stuff. Let me get myself off the screen so you guys can see. But yeah, so we had the first red day of the month, which is not bad. It was actually a down 20 bucks on the red side. We had a $6 day on Tuesday, 85 on Wednesday, 57 Thursday, and down 20 Monday. 5 trades. Were there really 5 trades? Yes and no. This AMD, I would honestly say, was kind of like 1 trade. And it pisses me off because, like, looking back at this, like, this shouldn't have been a loss. I should have held it a little bit longer instead of having to re-enter, because the risk that I was essentially looking to have it hold to, I didn't respect that. I was sized in a little too heavy on this one, and that was more of a numbers game. I saw the number being a little too large, and I was like, shit, I should get out. Looking back, it actually would have been green, because then I re-entered very shortly after this one got out with a stop loss below that relative low, which essentially was then my new risk level, and then I ended up going for a 20%. So looking back, it actually should have been a green day, but it is what it is. So made a few bucks across a couple other things, which really I wouldn't even count some of these. This Apple we had on the live stream, it was a dud. This Tesla, barely anything. And this other Apple was a valid idea, just didn't pan out earlier this morning. So honestly, like, not too much to talk about here. It's kind of a wash, and really one mistake that turned us, into a red day. Outside of that, there's nothing much that I want to dive deeper into. So on to the next day.
Today is now Tuesday, and I just got this freaking package in from the IRS, so this letter to the IRS. Starting off to a great start. Got up at like 6:30, went for a quick walk outside. Sun is now up. We have a bunch of work to do. Now we got the tax stuff that I'm gonna do like later tonight. So let's just finish the night off super strong. I've got a bunch of stuff I have to do campaign-wise. I have to look over some ad stuff that I was working on. I have to do a bunch of emails. I have to do a bunch of other things, and also film this / edit this video. And then we have a 4-miler today that we are gonna be doing. I'm probably gonna do it midday. That's when I'll have a chance to go ahead and do it. And so in the meantime, we will watch some charts and we'll be seeing if there's anything that looks good for today in the market. I think that we're gonna have a decent day, but we shall see. We got CPI and stuff coming out in the coming days as this week goes on, so I'm not expecting too much, but a lot to do, and it's currently 8:30, so let's get after it.
Okay, we made back yesterday's losses. Today is Tuesday, it is 9:19 Central Time. I don't know if I'm going to take anything else today because as we get closer towards the end of the day, I've just seen this kind of happen time and time again. We have CPI tomorrow and the market tends to just kind of really slow down. The range tightens up. And so I don't want to really be around for that. I made a few bucks and that's it. So we'll talk about this Microsoft in a second. That was the win. We had a win and a loss. So we went 50-50 on the day, but we ended up coming out green. So here's Tesla. I'm looking at the 1-hour chart, very clear, right? We had resistance right here. We broke out of that. The problem was it was at the open, which I'm not a huge fan of taking these at the open, but I took it with small size. It ended up pushing a little bit and then it came right back down. So when I saw that it could not break, essentially, and get that continuation push on the hourly, and this upper wick rejected, I got out. Small loss, I just got out. I'm like, you know what, fuck this, I'm not messing with Tesla right now. If it was gonna go, right, we have a really nice hourly set up to the upside, it would have popped and it would have had a nice rip of $1 or $2. It didn't give me it, I'm out, right? So it fit the system, the style that I've been trading. So that's why I decided to take it with smaller size and because it was an hourly. If it was a 5-minute setup like that, no, I'm not touching that shit at the open. No way. But because it was an hourly, that holds, you know, a little more superiority over a 5-minute, which is why I took it. The next one was downside. So market actually ends up kind of pulling down a little bit. Here's the chart that I saw. I go to the hourly chart. I like to look at the hourlies a lot and I pull up Microsoft. So right now, we're looking at Microsoft. On the right-hand side is the 280 puts, okay? Mike's sitting at 283, 284 at the time of looking at these. And here are the contracts. Here's how the put contracts moved. Yeah, right here on the right-hand side throughout the past, you know, for today so far on the 5-minute chart, okay? So pulled the contracts up, 280 strike was like the next logical strike to the downside. Still got a couple days. It's Tuesday, you know, these expire on Friday, so I'm fine. Double bottom right here on the 1 hour, okay, key spot. If that breaks, probably give us a nice move down. And what did we just get? We got the nice move down. It just took a little bit longer. So essentially the same exact setup, just to the downside here on Microsoft that we saw in Tesla. One worked, one didn't work, but we managed the risk in a way that we were able to make money on this day, despite having a loss and having a win. So hourly setup, I drew my line. I come in on the 5-minute chart. I'm like, okay, what do I see? At the time, we're sitting right in here, okay? And I'm like, oh shit, the 5-minute chart, right? We're below VWAP, below the 9 EMA. Not that that really matters too much, but we're trending down. And I saw this candle broke. This candle right here broke. So on that candle that broke, my stop loss goes to the top of that candle. So my stop loss is if Microsoft gets back to the top of this candle that originally broke on the downside, right? It broke that double bottom. It broke those 2 lows from pre-market. If this candle, right, if we buy back up and break that top of that candle, get me the fuck out. I don't want to be in this. No way. That's just how I'm playing it. Simple as that. So what ends up happening is Microsoft comes down, pops back up, got me a little bit cautious, and then it came back down into these moves down. Here's where things got a little weird. I had to kind of manage it, and there's actually 1 or 2 times where I ended up adding a contract into this area. Once I saw it test it and start to pull back and that wick develop, I actually added a contract and it worked out in this case. And I took that profit as we came back down towards this line because for whatever reason today, these contracts are just not moving very nicely. So I entered on this candle, which ended up being around 177, 176 or something like that, which was this guy right here on that break. We immediately back tested. It came down. Contracts came down to 159. So now all of a sudden I'm down almost 20 cents on my contracts. I'm like, geez, for what? Like we barely it was on this candle right here. We barely retested back up. So it wasn't moving super nice. Then we get back to the same spot that my entry was, and I'm down like 7-8 cents on the contracts. The contracts, and it didn't take this long. This trade took about a half hour, right? It didn't take the whole day. So they kind of were moving a little wonky. I was looking, is the VIX down? I guess the VIX off the open did come down a bit. I'm not really sure. The contracts were kind of being weird. They weren't really trading in the nicest way. When I see that, I get cautious, so I didn't take these with super big size. And then essentially, we never broke that upper level, okay? So we're fine. Actually stayed below VWAP, the volume weighted average price, the white line, the entire time. And eventually, I did take profits into this move. I had 3 contracts. I took one off there. It came back up, ended up re-adding it up into here as we started to wick back down, took that one off, and I ended up taking the 2 off as we kind of pushed down towards those lows. So once we ended up eventually, this also kind of freaked me out right here. It came all the way down to here, then back up to here, 284.11, then all the way back down to 283.40s. Like, geez, man. It didn't want to give us a nice clean move down. But no reason to get out, right? Again, no reason to get out because we never pierced back above the resistance point that I was watching, or to invalidate this idea. And so then I took profits in there. I could have held on to one more contract here. The only problem is, like I said, I anticipate games. Could I be wrong? Sure. But tomorrow is CPI. There'll be many opportunities on a trend, or post-CPI trend when volume comes back in. People start feeling a little bit more comfortable with the market. So that's kind of today's trade recap. I'm not going to do these for every single, trade that I do. But, a couple here and there throughout the week that I'll sprinkle into these videos. This video will probably be a little bit longer this week, but ideally these videos going out for the next couple weeks will be shorter, and they hopefully should provide some really nice insight into kind of things as they happen and my thought process throughout the week. So hope that makes some sense. On to the next.
I figure I mentioned this too. For those who are not aware, I don't know if I really talk about this that much, but when it comes to income and all that good stuff, I essentially do like 10 different things, if that makes any sense. I have a side Amazon thing that I do that it's been making actually better money as the year has gone on. I have some ad stuff that I do that I also run. I also have 3 channels that I do run, which they don't pay everything, but they add up and they also add into income that I have. And so that's kind of what affords me the ability to be able to watch charts, not all day, but to be able to be at a desk for as long as I need or want to. The majority of the work that I do from home. So this is like, we just got a new apartment. This is like the home office. It's like literally nothing much at all. This is our room that we use to store a bunch of shit. As of right now, we're figuring stuff out where things need to go because we recently moved in here. But I don't think I've ever really talked about that. And so I do a bunch of different things. YouTube is a piece to the puzzle, not everything. And I could not live off of just YouTube income alone. I figure I mentioned that. And then when it comes to the trading stuff, that's essentially money that I've pretty much never pulled from. Really maybe here and there, but honestly, compared to how much I've added into that over time, I would say it's pretty much even in terms of pulling from it and using it as income. I don't use it as income. However, if I have good weeks, good months, that's something that I would use to pay down debts and to potentially supplement income. And that's the ultimate goal in the future on this journey to building a $100,000 portfolio. Because as you grow the portfolio, it becomes a little bit easier to start pulling some cash out if you want and to start supplementing income with some of the dividends and things like that I could do. So it's an option, right? You have more options, and that's what it's all about. I want to have options. I kind of grew up and I saw a lot of things I didn't want when it came to, jobs and income and stuff from family, from friends and things. And it just kind of framed me to say, hey, I don't want to have to rely upon one thing. Do I have, a ton of things right now that make me a ton of money? No, but I have a bunch of different things that make some money, and that money adds up. And if one of those things goes away, it's not the end of the world. And that's kind of the mindset I've always had when it comes to money and income. And so at least I figured I'd mention this and and my thoughts on that stuff now, because as we kind of rebrand these videos, I think it's important that, you know, we start with a framework, so at least you understand where I'm coming from and I'm not just some bum in a basement, you know what I mean? No, I do pay for this apartment myself, I do live on my own, and I also do work for myself as well, but it's not just YouTube, it's actually a lot more than that, and there's a lot more behind the scenes that goes on. So that's that. 4 miles done in 37 minutes, pretty much exact, like a 9:20-ish pace. Today is the first day of like the first true week of my marathon training, or ultra marathon training if you want to call it that. But my plan is for the first like 10 weeks is to do like a training run, then a pace run, and then a long run. So training run this week is 4 miles, then I'll have a day off, I'll strength train the next day. Then the next day I'll do 4 miles again, but I'm looking to beat that pace. So today's run was supposed to be pretty easy, and it looking like it was freaking hard as hell. No, it's just hot as hell outside, and that's why it's not even that bad. It's only 65, but I guess I sweat a lot. So then the next 4 mile run is try to beat that pace. So ideally we're trying to pull that off in maybe like 36 minutes, something like that. And then the long run is just long. Like we're just trying to get miles in on the week and just get used to running, you know, 8, 10, 12, 15 miles. Like as time goes on, I'll build that up over time. That's the plan. 7:02. Pull session complete. CPI live time. Just something about this time of day that just hits different. I don't know, I used to be sleeping in till, you know, I don't know, 7, 8 sometimes, but getting up before 6, getting it done, and then seeing this, man, it's fucking sick. Also, you don't gotta be in the gym for fucking 2 hours. 45 minutes, and honestly that included like a 5-minute warm-up and me walking back to the car. Dude, that's all you need. I got in, got out, hit the muscle groups I wanted to hit them intense, minute rest times, and I'm done. Real quick before the pizza bagels are done, today, 47 bucks. Had some wins, had some losses, but ultimately, we snuck it out on top. You guys can see the sizing is super, super light here because at the end of the day, the way I kind of view this right now is like 40% win rate, but we came out on top. I'll take that any day. See the wins, 13% on the wins. And we had a super small position here. That's why that was a 13% loss, but that was even a smaller amount, but 2 very small losses. And all I care about is this. This is for the month. We're currently looking at the month of April. If I just reset that for this month. I don't really care, man, at this point in time. I want to build that foundation right now with one system and strategy. And right now, it's looking pretty good. We can size up, you know, eventually. You know, who cares? But I like the green. I'll take the green. Yo, I wasn't kidding about the pizza bagels. We got them right here. The perks of working at home. Jeez, I'm freaking soaked. 4 miles, we did it in 34:25, so we crushed our pace on our easy run from 2 days ago on the 4 mile. And sometimes you gotta let the trade go, right? You gotta let it work. So take a look at this. So I left, we got this break over this resistance on QQQ. I had this wick down here. My original stop was gonna be here. So I was like, I don't like it, but I'm just gonna put a stop loss under this wick and go for a run. I come back, the contracts go from 250s to 3. Now I had 3, I sold 2, now I got 1 left to ride. Sometimes, man, you just gotta, like this was the choppiest, you know, action, you just gotta let it go. And many times this chop will make you go, fuck, I gotta get out, you know, bored, and it will make you do something when the chart literally still looked fine. It was moving nicely, it was very constructive to the upside, and now we're reaping the rewards of the trade. Dentist is done, my friends. Fucker back there can't feel essentially from like here all the way down, but it was okay. It went well. Hour and a half fucking drilling in my fucking mouth, but we're done. Temporary, and then I gotta go back for the full crown deal, but hopefully that's not that bad. And it is currently 8:55. Friday morning. Great way to start off. I couldn't think of a better way to start off a fucking Friday.
And boy, was I correct. This is me a couple hours into the future on Friday afternoon, and it did not go very well. We had a couple trades that just fucking, it worked and then it didn't work. And then, I don't know, man. It was not a great finish to the week. I'm not happy about it. We'll come back at it next week. Here are the results. I'm gonna put a shot up of the trading to 100,000 kind of old spreadsheet, and we're gonna have essentially shots of all of that. So what we're gonna do is come back to this every week, and I'll ultimately post the screenshot every Friday afternoon, or I'll upload it as a video, and then I'll post it up in this video every Friday afternoon. So we'll see where we're at and the progression of the overall portfolio. We're gonna cover everything. Ideally, the goal is to build the Robinhood to 100K and use it as cash flow, and the other ones will be kind of like income, speculative portfolios that we don't wanna have a lot of money in, but we'll have in there in case we wanna take trades whenever we see opportunities. And then that's the plan. So here's where it is. Not that bad. I mean, we did pull back, but we're not to the lows of so far this year net, so I can't complain. And in the meantime, we need to work this out at the gym.
My favorite shots of downtown Austin. Coming across the bridge, whole river. Pretty cool.
Saturday morning run is complete. Hit the run, got some bagels, went to the pool, and just took a fat nap. I did this 10 miler today, slower pace. My goal on these longer runs, as of right now, the longer runs are 10 miles, and that will slowly, as the weeks go by, go to 11, 12, 15, etc. The goal here is just to get running for over an hour and a half, and I did it in just under an hour and 40 this time with a much slower pace, but I wanted to get the heart rate down. So my average heart rate was about 5 beats per minute from the watch. I don't know how accurate that is. It was about 5 beats per minute lower than a week ago. And it took me about 4 or so more minutes to do this entire 10-mile run than last time. I don't know if I want to say that was an improvement, but that's the goal, is to keep these runs less intense, okay? So about to make a fat meal, and then probably gonna wrap this video up here. If you're still watching, I appreciate the hell out of you. Hopefully these new videos go a little bit smoother, and hopefully they're more interesting, and hopefully they're more fun. We'll definitely talk a bit more about portfolio updates and whatnot inside of here. I don't want to make that the entirety of this series, of this video, but it will definitely be a piece, and we're of course going to talk about that stuff on the live streams like always throughout the weeks. Thanks so much, guys. I truly appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.